Hi there, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Hawk and I. Today I'm talking about past lives and past life regressions. We all have a soul, and quite often, for most of us, that soul has had many, many lifetimes. Now, I studied past life regression with Dr. Brian Wise, who is an American psychiatrist and hypnotherapist who has dedicated most of his career to studying regressions and past lives. Now, past life regression is an amazing experience, and it does require you to be open minded, and it also requires a little bit of quieting your mind. Now, we use a form of hypnosis, very different than a stage hypnosis or other forms of hypnosis. This is a relaxed state, similar to a deep meditation, where we can access your subconscious, where there's so many glorious memories and so many magical things that you can explore there. Now, quite often in our waking state, we can kind of naturally go into this form of hypnosis. For example, if you've ever been driving somewhere and all of a sudden you arrive at your location and you think, I don't remember the last 5 minutes of the drive. How did I get here? That is a form of hypnosis. You were able to quiet your mind just long enough to go a little bit deeper. Now, within our subconscious lies the memories of our soul. Every experience you've ever had in any lifetime is there. And through hypnosis, we're able to access that. Now, during a regression, the client is fully in control. At any time you're uncomfortable, you're able to simply just open your eyes and your back. You also remember the regression. You remember the experience and you remember what you see, what you hear, and what you know. Now, there are many reasons why people come to me for regressions. Sometimes it's just simple curiosity. They want to know a little bit more about what their soul may have experienced. Sometimes it's also used to understand a phobia. Quite often, people who have major phobias that they don't understand, quite often that phobia does connect to a past life. For example, people who have a phobia of water may have drowned in a previous lifetime, or people who have a major phobia of falling. Quite often, their death may have been from a significant fall. The other thing that's amazing with regression work is the lessons, the repeat lessons that sometimes we carry forward from lifetime to lifetime. Quite often we'll see a pattern when we do a regression. We'll see a pattern in learning or a theme. It won't be the first time in a lifetime that they've had very similar themes that have surfaced. The other thing that's amazing with regression work is quite often we recognize people in our past lives who are part of our current lives. And that's because we often have a soul family, our soul family that we agree to come and learn and have different lifetimes with. So, for example, the spouse you have now may have been a spouse in a previous lifetime. Your sister in this lifetime may have been a brother or a parent or a friend in a past lifetime. Quite often we do have those moments where we may remember someone. So, for example, have you ever met someone and you just have that instant knowing? You know you have been together before. You know you've had experiences before. The other thing with our memory is sometimes we would recognize a place. For example, you may go to a new place, you're on a trip, and all of a sudden you have this overpowering recollection of being there before, or having knowledge of a place, or you're really pulled about a place. And quite often it's because your soul remembers a past lifetime and is communicating that with you. Now, what other things have come up with past lives that's really fascinating is sometimes with some health stuff has come up that we've carried over. For example, I've done many regressions where somebody may have a chronic pain in a shoulder or in a back or in a leg, anywhere really, and there's no medical reason for it. They can't find anything wrong with this person, and they've had it for a very long time. And quite often in a regression, we'll go back into a lifetime, and in that exact location was the cause of death. They may have been stabbed or shot in that specific location, and we're able to do a little bit of healing work there. And the healing work that happens in regression is absolutely phenomenal. You get to witness how you may have passed, or an experience that is kind of affecting you in this lifetime, and you just haven't been able to put together the pieces. We're able to go into that lifetime and offer some healing and offer some understanding to how you're experiencing your lifetime today. I have myself had several past life regressions, and this isn't my first time being a healer or a medium, which is fun, which is really interesting. I have been an oracle in the past. I've also been a gypsy who spent her lifetime cruising or touring around and predicting futures, like fortune telling. And in one of my lifetime, I was actually killed for my mediumship because it wasn't really understood. I've also had an opportunity to experience a lifetime of royalty, and it was really nice to experience that. It's just been a phenomenal journey with past lives. Now, some of my client stories that I can share a little bit with you. I did a regression on a young man once who went right back to Neanderthal time, and he was able to give me descriptions of what was around him, what he was wearing, how he passed, and what the land looked like. I've also done regressions where people were often warriors in ancient times, ancient Egyptian times, and it's just been so phenomenal to be able to listen to them. Now, as a therapist, when you're doing a regression, you're just kind of guiding them through, and you're kind of bringing them back and talking them through getting back, and then you just listen and you allow them to share their story as to what they're seeing and experiencing. I have had some really unique experiences with clients. One client was shown that he was actually as a fish in had a lifetime as a fish. I have had people who have had regressions where they were indeed animals, and I even had someone in a regression who, as they were, realizing where they were actually a tree. And it was just absolutely mind blowing that they had a lifetime of stillness, and being able to see that it's interesting. You do have to go into a regression very open minded, and being able to allow. And quite often people experience their regression like watching it like a movie, or being able to see through the eyes of their previous self. Our soul remembers everything, every experience we've ever had, and our subconscious is the gateway to knowing a little bit more of that story and being able to get in there and do some healing work and or understand or just feel some curiosity as to who we were and how that affects us today. I did have on one occasion, I did a regression on it was a young girl. Well, she wasn't that young. She was in her 20s, but younger than me. And I did a regression on her. And when we got to the part where you kind of become aware of a body and who you are, what was fascinating result in this was she went right back to spirit, right back to heaven before her soul came to a body. And it was explained to her that this was her very first lifetime. She hadn't experienced a lifetime before. She was a new soul. And with being a new soul, she kind of understood her own behaviors and her own desires. She had a very curious, yet had to experience things all on her own. There was never telling her anything. She had to experience it all on her own, and it kind of really made sense to her that she had this youthful soul rather than an old wise soul that had been here many times. I hope that this session on past life regression gives you a little bit more curiosity as to your own soul, as to what lifetimes you may have had. And quite often opening up that door just kind of puts together so many pieces of the puzzle. I hope you enjoyed your time. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'm wishing you blessings, love and light, and a spirit guided day.